Welcome everybody to another global game night. There's the camera. How is it going? Tonight we are going to be playing a game called, there it is, Encore. This is a game from 2015, 2016, and it's been around a little bit. It used to be in Germany called, or in Europe called Noch. And hey, how's it going, Ethan? And it's recently had a kind of a U.S. version release, so they rebranded it for the U.S. market called Encore. Man, that's got a little bit of glare going on. And yeah, it's a neat game. I just actually learned it this a week or two ago, so it was like one of my in the stack of roll and writes I needed to get to but hadn't gotten to yet. So it's pretty cool to bring it out. So this is global game night number 3, which is awesome, and hopefully we can keep it going strong. Let me pop over to the scene where we play the game. There it is. How about that? Okay, so Encore comes with 6 dice. And it also comes with a pad and a bunch of these little pens as well. All right. There are 2 different types of die. There is the black die, which has numbers and a question mark. So it's 1 to 5 and a question mark. And then there's the white die. And we'll check on the colors. So we have a blue, a yellow, a black, green, orange, and a red. Orange and red are a little bit close, but not too bad. I think we'll be good on color today. Okay. So we got a colored set of dice and we got a number set of dice. Now, the question mark acts as a wild. You choose 1 through 5. The black X acts as a wild. You choose which color. Yeah, so much better than the purple and blue. I totally agree. I'm always wondering, like, I should check this ahead of time, because I feel like it's a lighting thing to get the colors right, but it's all good. It's all good. And yeah, so we got wild on the black X, wild color, and wild number on the white question mark. Okay, those are kind of the 2 special aspects of this game. Now, in this game, you'll see a bunch of colors on a grid, which is a lot of fun. We have a bunch of letters above the top as well. I'm going to teach the rules really quick, and then we're going to just dive in and play it a first time, and then we're going to talk a little strategy as usual, and we're going to dive in and play it a second time for competition. All right. So the game starts with column H. So everyone must make a mark starting with column H. At any, going forward, they can branch outward, but their starting point is on column H. All right, you'll notice column H has every single color represented. So no matter what color is rolled, you always have a choice. What you're doing on your turn is you are. I'm going to talk about the rules. I'm going to talk about the way we play. Okay, because we got to adapt a few rules for the global game night. Just make a few small modifications. So we can play this sucker. So all 6 dice are rolled. The active player, and that's what we're going to change. The active player is going to pick 2, all right? And those are the 2 the active player would choose. Now, everyone else at the table would get to pick 2, 1 colored die, 1 number dice, from the remaining 4, all right? The active player would be using these 2, all right? That is what we're going to change a little bit. Going forward in our explanation, we're actually going to take 2 dice out. We're actually going to play what's a little bit closer to the solo rules of Encore, because it's a little bit more fair in terms of the competition. I was kind of trying to think about ways to even out who gets what first, and I'm like, well, I think with just a few, with like less than 10 people, it's fine. But if we really wanted to scale this up to infinity, this is a little bit better approach. So we're each going to choose 1 of the 2 dice. Two of the dice here. Okay, a color die and a number die. The color die represents like the color on the sheet. The number represents the number of that color that you must fill in. So when you start the game, this might be a little bit tough starting off. When you start the game, you're going to be making a mark, basically starting with column H. Okay, and this is actually a horrible roll. Let me go and do something like this. Okay, so we have a blue 4. So blue 4 would be a fine choice. You would mark off 4 of these blue boxes. They must be connected to each other, and they must be at the beginning of the game starting from column H. Now, every other turn, you must mark something connected to something existing. So you're always, marking a mark adjacent to an existing mark. Now, there's one rule. There's one rule you really must remember during this game, is the number is the most. The color is important, and the number is also important. Okay, so the color is where you're going to be looking for where you can play the marks. The number is how many spaces you must fill in. Must fill in. Okay, why is that important? Well, just a minute ago, let's say we rolled 2 oranges and 2 4s. We actually don't even have an orange and a 4 available to us. Okay, if you look at this, we have 2 oranges here. You cannot mark more than the allotted spaces that you have available to you. So if you had a 4 and an orange, you just couldn't play. And it is perfectly okay in this game to not play. There are strategic times in the game where you may not want to make a mark. Okay, so let's say that this was a 1. And let's say that this was a 2. Okay, if we picked the orange 1, that would be a perfectly fine mark. We're filling one of these boxes with one of our marks. So we're just going to put an X in the box, okay? The 2 is a better one because we can fill up the entire box, the entire group of oranges here. So you're really looking for groups of a certain number. You can always fill in less than that group. You can never use a number if it would fill in more than the group. So for example, orange 2 is just fine. Orange 1 is just fine. Orange 3 is illegal, okay? Because if you see starting in column H, there is not 3 oranges available to me. If it were red, we definitely have a 3. Okay, so you could mark 1, 2, 3 or 1, 2, 3. Now every mark must be adjacent to an existing mark, and when you make your marks on the paper, you must not skip anything. So I couldn't go I couldn't mark here, 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 because those aren't adjacent to each other. So I must mark here, 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 or here, here, here with a red 3, for example. And yeah, that's pretty much the game in terms of what you're doing on your turn. Now, how do you score points? Okay, super important here. You are going to score points by, first off, filling in all of a color. So 5 points if you fill in all of a color. And there's 5 different colors. You are going to score points if you fill in all of a column. Okay, and we're gonna score in the solo mode. We're gonna score the topmost points. All right. Now in the non-solo mode, you actually would call out like, oh, I got to column E, and then nobody else could score the topmost, the highest value of points. They would have to, if they filled up their column E, they would score the second highest or the lowest value of points. All right. You'll see in column H, that's 1 and a 0. Along the sides, you actually have a higher value, 5 and 3. Okay. Now, if you choose to use a wild, or if you choose to use a wild question mark or a black X, you must make a mark in your wild spot. Okay. Every time you make a mark, you are foregoing 1 point. Every mark you have left at the end of the game, you score 1.4. So you have bonuses for color. You have points for the columns, for completing a column. So all the boxes in the column are marked off. Then you get the points for the column. And you have points for any of these unused wilds. All right. And this little dastardly one over here, every time you don't cover a star, you're going to lose 2 points. And I believe there are 15 stars on the board, so that is a possibility of negative 30 points if you don't cover any stars. Now let me link this page to make sure everyone has it. I know you can always take a screenshot, but here we go. Copy link, paste her in. Awesome. Gonna lose a lot of points. And that's it. So like it's a little bit different with the solo rules, but I think this will be really fun because it'll be nice to learn, and there won't be quite as much like back and forth. There's actually a pretty interactive game because people are calling out, oh, I got column E or I got column L, and so there's definitely some strategy that comes in with that. So anyway, we're gonna just crank through the solo game. I expect there to be potentially some rough start issues because if we roll high numbers and if we don't roll a blue or a yellow, for example, or a red, if we roll like orange and green, we might actually have to pass. So that's okay. On your turn, this is actually another good rule. On your turn, you may make a mark. You do not have to make a mark. Okay. So for example, if all you have available to you is like the question mark in the wild, and it's a question mark in a wild. That would use up 2 of your jokers, your wilds. That costs you 2 points, and it also really cramps you for flexibility in the future. You do not need to make a mark on that. Yeah. So even if you have a legal move, you can pass. You can always pass. And yeah, that totally may be strategic if it's like, I really don't want to use my wilds right now. I want to save them for later. If you're forced to use wilds, which probably will happen at some point, it may be smart to pass and kind of hold back on that. To choose when to use those wilds wisely. Also, when does the game end? In the solo mode, each round we're going to make a cross. We're going to make a mark on the A every time we play around. And then we're going to make a second mark on the A on our second round. Once we get all the way from the left to right, that's when the game is done. So I believe that is, let's see, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 14. That's going to be 28 total rounds. Okay, I think we are ready to start rocking and rolling. Let's see, 4 dice in the dice tray, and yeah, let's start rocking and rolling. We are going to play first round of Encore. And if you don't have the sheet, I pasted a link in the stream chat. All right, rock and roll. Let's also get this turn counter all the way back. There it goes. We're at 0. Excellent. So I said we'll get to 28. I'm sure I'll miss a few of those buttons. Okay. So in the first roll, we have a red 5 and a blue 3. Okay, we cannot play the red 5, but we can play the blue 3. And also just remember, we can choose to pass. So first thing we're going to do is make a mark on the A. I am going to choose that blue, that blue 3. That's totally fine. All right. Yes, absolutely. Great question. It can be a red 3. Great question. You can choose either combination. And that I overlooked that, but you're totally right. We could totally play the red 3 there as well. Alrighty. Make your choice. And we're off. We have a 3 and a 4, yellow and a red. 3 and a 4, yellow and a red. One question I have actually is, can you always start for free in the H column? It says all checked boxes must connect. Checks must be horizontally or vertically adjacent to at least one already checked box or start in the H column. So I think it's always free to start in the H column. Good clarification. All right. Clear cut for me right there. Rocking and rolling. Any questions? Do not hesitate to ask. Oh, I'm going to re-roll that one. That is a black and a green. 5 and a 5. So a lot of 5s going on here. Hopefully you have... Well, wild gives us a lot of opportunities, you know. That's great. Some of these choices where to put the X's, I think, are quite interesting. You know, I think what we're going to unpack this a little bit in the strategy area, but I think there's a lot going on here as I've played this now 2 or 3 times, and I'm still kind of, you know, wetting. I'm still kind of, you know, figuring out the strategy as I go, but it's cool to see it build. It's cool to learn it as we go. All right, new turn. Oh, we have a dice off screen. That is a 1 and a wild color, and a green. 1 and a wild number, wild color, and a green. Remember, if you use a wild, you're going to be checking one of the jokers. Make sure you mark that down. So here you could actually mark 2 jokers down. You know, it could be like a 6 of yellow if you wanted, or something like that. Or sorry, you can't go to 6. That actually is a great clarification. So the numbers are always 1 to 5, cannot go to 6. So even on the jokers, you can only go to 5. Yeah, that's actually a really great one in that green. I like that too. Good idea. All right, rock and rolling. Point that out, Ethan. I'm like, yeah, I think you're smart. I think you're smart to take that. You got to take what comes to you sometimes. All right. 4 and a 5, orange and a red. And I want to go here, but I cannot. Yeah. That's great. Feel free to keep telling us your moves, Ethan. All right. I don't have a whole lot of plays here, but I do have some. I think it's important for me to start branching out a little bit. And I think, too, kind of branching left and right might be smart. Only branching one way so far. All right. All right. So we are on turn 5. So first we're going to cross out the C, and then we're going to make a mark. We have a 1, a wild number, a blue, and an orange. Well, I don't want to use a wild on that later, so that's fine. Sometimes it falls in your lap, you know. All right, make your moves. I think this game's going to grow on me. I think the first time we played it, I missed a rule, and we were kind of all shouting who wins what, and it didn't quite end great. But I think the solo mode is going to you know, hit on some of those notes a little bit more. So I've heard people kind of adore this game. So I mean, I was excited to pick it up. We have a 2 and a 2, a black wild color, a wild color, and a blue. If only there was a blue 2 somewhere in my reach. Yeah, that's probably fine. All right, I'm using my first wild. I don't love it, but it's okay. Next turn. We are on turn 7. We have a blue and a wild color, a 3 and a 1. Blue, 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 blue. I think that's okay. No wilds, that's good. You might want to save them for later. Just a hint if you haven't played this game before. All right, Turn 7. We are on to turn 8. Make your move. Five and a 4, yellow and a blue. That's excellent. Diversity, too, is, I think, a key potentially. Leaving your options open, numbers and colors. Making sure you spread out a little bit. The first time I played, I was like really going heavy into the big numbers, and I don't think it was necessarily a good choice. But I think every game's different. Depends on the rules, right? All right. Turn 9. Three and a 2, an orange and a wild color. Yeah, for now, it's nice. We'll see where that goes. 3 and a 2, orange and a wild. Okay. Sometimes it's just, sometimes you just have to take it when it's there. I know. You have that orange corner. Wow. You really went right. Impressive. Okay. It's going to be turn 10. Roll them up. A blue and a wild color, a wild number, and a 2. I don't see it. I don't love it. We have a few yellows. I know. You know, and keep in mind too that you can use that wild number. Like this might be a great time to just say, I need to use the wild at some point. I'm leaning that way myself because I don't see any 2s immediately jumping out to me. Let's do this. Column H, well played. On the board. Yeah, I guess I'll do this. That's probably fine. I don't love it. That's a wild color for me. All right, moving on, roll 11. So you can see the game, you know, the clock is ticking, right? We only have so much time. A 1 and a 3, a green and an orange. I had a 3 of orange somewhere, didn't I? I didn't. Shucks. Those ones, you know, sometimes it makes sense to just take them when they come. Don't try to fight it. All right, turn 12. Hopefully you rolled. Hopefully you marked. A 4 and a 4. A lot of options here. A green and a red. It'll be interesting to see how different our scores are, I think. I think it's going to... I mean, there's so many choices, right? Like, we can differentiate at so many different rolls. Green and red. Okay. I don't even think I can move. Dang it. So I have 3 here. I can't do that. Can't get over here. Shucks. I have to pass this turn. Well, it's what it is. We're going to be on to turn 13. It's okay. That's probably my fault. Or it's the dice. Dice hate me. We have a blue and a yellow, a 2 and a 3. All right, that's better. That's better. part of the issue is, you know, not giving yourself enough options. As you can see, I've kind of, you know, I'm pretty good on the left, but my right side has gotten not a lot of options yet. Nice. I finally got H. Woohoo. All right. Two and a two, blue and a black. Okay. Okay. All right. Keep that blue 2 for the future, hopefully. All right, 315. We have a 5 and a wild, an orange, and a blue. All right. It is about time. It's a good roll. Nope. A 1 and a blue, a red and a wild number. Okay. I have still just H. Feeling pretty good about that. Oof. All right, 5 and a 5, blue and a green. You gotta be kidding me. It is a point. I'm on the board. This is not going so well. I gotta pass. Oh boy. What a game. I don't know if I would call this Encore. First pass. I know, right? It feels bad a little bit. Okay. That was 17. On to turn 18. Green into green, 5 and a 4. And again, solo, there's 2 less dice being rolled, so potentially less options. A lot of greens, 5 and a 4. Another pass. Oof. I don't think I chose wisely. All right. Time to pick up the steam here. Here we go. I know. That was just terrible rolls. That one is kind of tilted, so I'm going to do it again. Here we go. Orange and a 3, wild number and a wild color. I feel like this is just, it's time. Time to start using wilds. I'll get some points. Orange and 3. All right, and that's 19. The clock is ticking, though. It's solo game puts some pressure on you, big time. Wow, I know, right? Like you need to start actually using wilds, and we need to roll wilds for you to use wilds. So it'll be interesting. Okay, 5 in a black X, 5 in a black color, 1, and also a red color. Well, yeah, I know, right? But it, like, I feel it biting down on me. I'm not gonna score points over here. I think I need to do something like this. and use wild. Because that just opens up so many options. And that would have been turn 20. All right. 3 blue would be great. Asking you got a 3. Could use wild. All right, we have a 3 and a 5 and 2 wilds here. So if you do not use wild or you do not have a wild, you can't play. If you do not want to use a wild, you could pass. With this much time left in the game, I would probably not be passing. We got here 3 to 5. Got to be something good. Something good. Sure. Yeah, there it is. You just had to spend for it. All right. That's going to be turn 22. Okay. 2 wild numbers, a wild color, and a red X. Huh. Hope you need red. And sometimes, breaking away and just doing something different is fine. I think that red seems fine, though, for me. At this point, like, covering the stars might just be my best game plan. Oof. Gross. All right. Covering those stars. Try to cover all the reds, maybe. Red 3. Red 3 seems pretty good. All right. So I'm going to circle 5 points for all the reds covered. I'll take that. And that's 23. Got a few columns here as well I snuck up on. Good. Yellow, wild, and a blue. 2 wild numbers, yellow and a blue. Well, I think it's probably best to cover some stars. And then also look for columns at this point. That seems fine. Big orange. And that's a wild for me. I got 1 more wild to play. I don't love that. I don't love being in that position where I might be missing rolls because I'm just out of wilds. All right. 25. What do we got here? Green and red, 5 and 5. Okay, I can play that at least. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 15. Actually, there's 30 rounds in the game. Sorry, not 28. That makes more sense. Okay. What do we got? We have a orange, 2 oranges, 1 or a 4. Yeah. 2 points or go for, there's a potential 7 here. I like that. $27. Game is nearing the end. Oh, let me roll that guy. All right. 3 in a blue, 1 in a red. Okay, red is donezo for me. Hard to say what's the better move there. All right. It's going to be turn 28. Actually, I think I missed a mark here. Turn 28 right now. I know. Nail biter now. All right. 1 and an X. A red X. Sorry, that's an orange X. 1 and an orange, 3 and a blue. I'm losing it. 1 and an orange, 3 and a blue. Really need a 2. Nice. Good work. Great success. I know, I'm really waiting to fill A here. Can't do it. 29. So just 2 more turns left, and of course, yellow 5, yellow 5. Come on, man. That sucks. What a terrible roll. I cannot use it. So we're going to go on to the last round of the game. I want a blue 2. I have a wild left to use, I believe. Did not get it. Red, green, 4, wild number. That's my last wild. Not great. Okay, so that would be the end of the game. Nice! Right at the buzzer. That would be the end of the game for the solo. We would count up all of your bonus colors, your columns. Any exclamation points you have not marked off is worth 1 point each. Any star you have not covered is -2. Definitely going to right away throw in the -6. Don't love that. Almost got to the blues. Almost got to the greens. That last yellow 5 was just terrible. All right. $11, 0, 16, ending up with 10 points. Well played, both of you. Do not follow what I'm doing on the screen. This is awful.